How's your day going?
It's awesome, man. It's a beautiful day here in the Lower Mainland, and it's what 30 degrees.
Dude, it's like summer literally just hit today.
I know it was like summer started 4 days ago.
For real, for real. So, as the weather changes, how have you been kind of adapting with your workouts, with running and everything like that? How was today?
It's been good. Well, today was the first one I got outside where it was kind of hot like this, but it was fine. Like I mean, like anything else, you want to be prepared before you go out to do anything, right? You want to have intention behind it, right? So I knew it was gonna be hot, so I made sure that I had a significant amount of water. So I have a bladder, a water, like a pack. So it's a 2.5 liter
Like the
pack.
camelbacks?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. And it's about 2.5 liters, and I had some tailwind in that, which is like electrolyte kind of beverage, um, which helps me while I'm running. And yeah, about 2 hours, hour and a half. So it was kind of good to feel the weather right now,
Mm-hmm.
because tomorrow I have another one. I got a 2.5 hour run tomorrow, so I'll do that outside. I'll probably go to Campbell Valley Park because tomorrow we have our mental health walk, and we're doing it at Campbell Valley Park tomorrow, where we're going to have On Cloud, the shoe company, is going to be sponsoring it tomorrow.
Wow.
So they're coming out with tents and snacks, and they're setting up around 9 o'clock so that people can try out shoes and maybe buy them if they want to with discounted rates, and then we go for a walk, and then I'll probably go for my run after
That's sick, man.
that.
I love that. I
Yeah,
love
man.
that.
Yeah.
Did you, because Teddy was talking about, like kind of like how your week was in the last week. Have you had any like kind of shifts or changes in the last like week or so that kind of like have, I guess, benefited you, or maybe they were like a rude awakening?
Well, I mean, so over the last couple of weeks, I've been actually settling into what's kind of happening right now, right? I'm over the last few months, I've been on various different podcasts. I've been on yours a couple times,
Yeah.
and after, I mean, compared to each time, I'm developing mentally and physically after each one. So it's like it's pretty crazy, actually, man. Like the so for first of all, the physical development since the last time I was on, like in terms of my running, um, because I've been utilizing the help of Coach Ron Lowen of Gritty Run Club, and also with Fit Nation Jazz. They've been helping me out with my mechanics. And so over the weekend, I was in Hinton, Alberta, and I had a 3 day sort of running, hiking kind of weekend. And it was about 50K altogether in 3 days. The first day was about 13 kilometers, 600-meter elevation. And then the second day was 18 kilometers, 1,200 meters elevation. So we hit a summit of a mountain.
Shit.
So it was a folding mountain we got to the top of in Hinton. And then the third day was 23K, about 300 meters elevation. I was good. Like, I mean, the first 2 days I hadn't ever done that kind of stuff, like in terms of like in the mountains with like hiking poles and all kinds of stuff. But having never done it, I felt pretty good about it, and I did decently. And then, but I obviously am more familiar with flatter terrain. So when I got to Sunday, which was 23 kilometers, um, I was way more confident at that point, even though my legs were tired.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. So after that weekend, I was like, holy shit, man! Like the work I'm putting in is paying off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't stressed out. I was having a blast. Like I was in the mountains, man. It was like it almost recharged me, like
Mm-hmm.
mentally. Like it was just. I mean, you've probably been in the mountains way more than I have, man. So you can probably speak to the benefits of actually being in those environments and how it actually mentally helps you. Like we'll definitely do more of those for sure. Like
Mm-hmm.
definitely, at least once a month, do that. So anyway, so that was good, and I got back. Everything seems to be settling in, meeting a lot of people. All things are going well as of right now. But like we all know, we go peaks and valleys, and I wanted to kind of chat about one of those valleys I had not too long ago, because I think for me, I'm kind of past that stage now, and I think I learned a few things through it, and I think maybe if I can share some of that, it might be, if someone could use some of what I did, maybe it can help them. If not, then that's cool. But it might be a good story to share. Like the last few times I've been on, and I've mentioned, separated and divorced, and a couple years ago, I was still living. I was living in the basement suite of the house with my ex-wife, and I was, you know, while she was at work, I would take care. I would take care of my daughter. So it was convenient that way.
Mhm.
But in many other ways, it wasn't convenient either for her or for me. But we did what we felt we had to do. And anyway, so for me, I can't speak for her, but for me at the time, I was like in a rough spot. Look, we had a nice house. We during the divorce, um, I didn't get much money based on, we didn't sell the house, right? So, because we decided that it might be best for our daughter to have a nice house to live in. So I ate a bit of it, and so that caused me some stress and tension. And what am I gonna do? I don't have a house now, and at the age of when that happened, I was like 41, 42, and I'm like, I'm not saving for another place now. Like at this
Mhm.
point, it's gonna whatever. And so that was on my mind, and possible custody stuff was on my mind with my daughter, so it was really freaking me out. And it was all building up, man. Like it was building to such a level. And this, when I was running and training and all this stuff, I was like fucking so much on my plate. And really, I hadn't given myself enough time to process anything. I was just moving, moving, going and going. And it hit me. Like it caught up, like in a big way. And one day I was with my daughter. At the time, she must have been around 2 or 3. And oh yeah, she was 2.5, 3. Because I was converting her crib into a bed.
Mm.
And my ex asked me if I could help her with that. So she was at work, and I was like, "Cool, I'll do it." Right, and I was pretty manic at the time, like a really like just helter skelter, moving around. Like my head was just like on a swivel the whole time. And I'm upstairs in my daughter's room, trying to put the bed together, and that's kind of stressing me out. Like I'm like, oh man, like I don't know, like the smallest things would start really agitating me. Even and she was there running around, that
Yeah,
was
I know
adding
the
to it,
feeling, man. I
right?
know the
You know
feeling.
exactly what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like where I was starting to get overwhelmed. That feeling, and I'm sure a lot of like some of your listeners can relate to that, man. The overwhelming feeling of just being helpless in that moment. My daughter's sitting right there. I was pretty much freaking out, like freaking out.
Mhm.
And then my ex's mom called me, and we have a pretty decent relationship, all things considered, and we
Mhm.
had a really great one even before. So she called me, and she FaceTimed me, and thank God that she did, because she saw my face, the way I looked, and she's like, "I'm coming over," and and she was just talking about like, "Do you want me to pick up your daughter, and if she can hang out with me, you can do this. You can make the bed," because I was just, like getting overwhelmed over the bed,
Mhm.
like something simple, right?
Mhm.
And I was like, "No, I'll call you later," and hung up the phone. And she calls me back an hour later, and she's like, "Are you gonna drop her off?" And I was like, "No, I'll figure it out myself." Like, "Fuck you, I'll do it myself." And she's like, "I'm coming over," because she could see the distress. How distressed I was. I was fucked. And then I started freaking out because I thought she was coming to take my daughter away from me. And then that like, and it wasn't delusional. It was just like paranoid,
Mhm.
right? And I was like, "Fuck that! You're not taking my daughter from me." Like I was getting pissed.
Mhm.
She goes, "No, we're not taking." Like that's how like paranoid I was. I thought they were gonna take my daughter away, and then I was like, and then she was like, "No, we're not. Like, you need to chill out. You need to go to the doctor. Like you're not well."
Mhm.
And that at that moment, I was like, "Oh, I gotta do something here. Like I'm not in a good spot. Like I couldn't contain my energy. It was just like shaking a lot."
Mhm.
And so then I went to. That's when I immediately started going to the doctor. I was like calling the doctor. I went to psychiatry. I went just like fuck, man. And when I went to the doctor, even in the doctor office, like at my GP, like I couldn't stop moving. Like I was just like like my leg was shaking. I was like my head was darting around, just overwhelmed, like a severe um, fight or flight state. That the mentality that you're in that moment, that was consistent for weeks. That I was feeling that for weeks. So then, with the checkup, I had well, not the checkup. The doctor's like, "Okay, let's talk here." It was a mental health check essentially,
Mhm.
and he had to go through some questions. And then after all the questions, he's like, "Okay, you've had a major depressive episode. and based on all the questions, and he's like, we need to monitor you, and I'm going to give you some medication, and for a year they essentially monitor the how the medication's working, how you respond, all these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so for me that was like pretty scary because I felt helpless. Essentially, I was like I thought I was going nuts, straight up, and I felt alone, isolated. Like just it was unpleasant to say the least, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I got medication. Eventually, step by step, small incremental step, and then help from people, asking for help, like actually asking people for help. Because, and I know this to be true for myself growing up, I never asked for help. I don't want to be considered weak, or like some people say, "Oh, I don't want to be a pussy," right? Like shit
Mm-hmm.
like that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, the reality is, since I've been asking for help, everything in my life has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was thinking about this 2 days ago with my dad. I was talking to my dad. I was like, since I've been asking for help from people and pushing my ego as far away down as possible, and look, some days it's up here, but I try to like check it, right? And since that, everything's been moving in a like it hasn't been roses, but everything's been trending in an upward direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been reflecting over these things, and that's why I wanted to share that story right now. Because like, yeah, everyone's seeing I'm running or doing this, that, and the other, but I was just like a lot of people, and I still am like a lot of people. I'm not that different. A major depressive episode for me was pretty scary for me, and I'm sure there's a lot of people having worse things happen to them or whatever. Um, so I can relate to a lot of people, and really, that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
because I know what it feels like. Like I'm so close to like disregarding even like where I work. Like I'm almost thinking about taking a leave of absence and going back later and just doing what I'm doing now, because I feel that there's a need for it, and I have such a drive now because I'm so connected to it. And with all the people I'm meeting, you and a whole bunch of other people, Teddy, and like a bunch of people, we all are kind of on the same page here, and we are all affected differently, but we all kind of want to do or move in the same direction with a positive mentality. So I don't know. I just wanted to. I thought it would be somewhat helpful sharing an experience where I was like really deep down, because I know I've said a lot of things about running, this, that, and the other, and I've talked about certain things, but I've never given that story or that example of what happened when I got when I got medicated.
Mm-hmm.
And that led up to like it was about 3 or 4 weeks of that kind of behavior, like that manic behavior, like progressively getting worse and worse until it just hit a wall. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah.
Dude, I resonate with that a lot, man. And it's like some of those things, like, it doesn't even, it's not like it goes away. Like, I know what you mean. Like, it just, like, kind of happens over and over again. And that's like, I mean, I haven't had that exact same scenario happen, but I've had similar experiences, like, being manic for sure. Like, my highs are high, my lows are really low, man. Like, and I kind of vibe with that a lot. And for me, like, I've tried avoiding it my whole life. Like, whether it's like using substances, using people around me, going to the gym, which are, I mean, going to the gym, certain aspects of that, like surrounding yourself with the right people or going to the gym, those are positive outlets. But I found like a lot of the time I was just trying to escape whatever pain I was going through. And I was like, if I just work harder, I'll be better in the future.
Mhm.
And
I mean, there is some truth to that,
of
but
course,
it's
but
what kind of work you're doing,
exactly,
right?
yeah,
So I don't know. From my experience and what I'm noticing is like the work never ends.
yeah.
Like this is life now. Life is perpetually continuing to develop every level,
Hmm.
right? So like
And it's going to challenge us in different ways all the
right,
time.
yeah. Like I mean, yeah. And but that's the fun part now. Like okay, so from my perspective now, I've shifted my mentality now to like, I look forward to these excessive runs.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm stoked.
Yeah, even just what you're talking about, like today and tomorrow, like it's like 2 hour runs, like those they're daunting, man. Like when I think about the only times I've ever run for like that many hours, it's like nerve wracking for me. But then once I finish, I feel like a rock star. Like doing those types of things where it's like, fuck, I really didn't think I'd be able to do that. For me, that's the way I view it. I'm like, I didn't really think I was actually going to be able to do it, and here
Mm-hmm.
I am. Like I'm still here.
Well,
And maybe I'm in pain now, but I'm still here. I'm alive.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, and you did something, you accomplished something, but there's another thing to that, right? Like, the more okay, now I can only speak for myself. I feel like I'm meant to be a professional athlete.
mm-hmm.
I just feel like I'm meant to do that, like fitness kind of things, right? So
You definitely don't look like you sit at a desk all day. That's for
no,
sure.
no. So yeah. So now, having said that, and I've worked out most of my life, but not with like some serious intention behind it. I always thought I was a recreational athlete. I just kind of work. I never even actually used the word athlete. I never
Mm-hmm.
used it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
work out. And what I've learned over the last couple years is, and not just learned, but internalized, words matter. Definitely. So if you, for many years, have said negative things about myself, what happens? It makes me feel like shit. So inversely, if you're going to say positive things, theoretically, it should work the same way, right? So now, when I, like, over a period of time, the more I run, I've reframed it in my mind. It's my job. I'm happy to do it now.
Mm-hmm.
That's my it's my work. So now I think of it that way. So if I think of it as my job, then I'm going to take it to another level. I'm going to understand every aspect of it so that I can perform as a professional. So that means things that I hadn't done before, I'm going to start employing. So that means mobility work, flexibility, yoga, feet and ankle training, like very specific stuff. And since I've been doing that, I've been increasing my productivity and efficiency and power. Everything's been increasing only because I said I'm a professional athlete. That's all I said.
Mm-hmm. So now it's like I gotta treat myself like I'm a professional. I gotta be professional about this.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to do. Now, having said that, I'm professional when I do my job. So if you have difficulty being a professional to begin with, then you have to work on that probably.
Mm-hmm.
But if you already have that mental capacity of understanding what it means to be a professional, then you can switch that mentality into anything.
Mm.
Now, for me, I'm meant to be an athlete because today I was like 2 hours in the sun. Let's go. I was
Mm-hmm.
excited.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow I got 25K to go. Okay, cool. I'm excited. I did 50K last weekend in the mountains. I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. I'm excited now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
got 50K to do on July 23rd at the Bucking Hell race in North Vancouver, going up Mount Seymour, 2,500 meter up, 2,500 meter down, technical as hell.
Holy
I'm like, let's
shit.
fucking go.
Dude, I feel like that downhill is like
Yeah, it's gonna
almost
suck.
more scary than the uphill.
Well, what was awesome about going to Hinton over last weekend was that was good practice for the North Van that I hadn't expected it to be good practice. Now it's not as much elevation, but it's similar, and the technical, how technical it is very similar as well. So when I say technical, I didn't know what that meant before until I did this last weekend. So it's when the trails are so like either uneven, bunch of roots sticking out, rocks all over the place, high elevation,
Mm.
rocky, muddy, like that's technical, right? So yeah, I was excited and I hadn't done that and was now I'm feeling more of a I've transitioned to that from that dread to like I'm happy to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I've found I think no, because you never find anything. You just continue to go on that process, but what I've learned is I'm enjoying the process now. Like I'm actually settling in and I'm enjoying this. I'm enjoying sitting here with you, having a chat. I enjoy now like just talking about the professional business aspect of what we're doing now. Because now it's going to start changing. Now I need to start really, since I'm settled in, now we need to maximize it even further. So YouTube channel starts in August. Now that'll be uploaded with a ton of stuff that's already been filmed. but I have nothing but ideas. It's my job now. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking about flying over here, flying over there, doing different things, having fun, race over there, let's go fishing this, let's film that, like all kinds of stuff. So really people can go to that channel and start really understanding who I am if they want to, and then experience the journey if they want to, and have fun at the same time while we're doing it. Like I plan on having somewhat educational things on there. Not that I'm going to be giving the education, but there's a lot of people that are helping me that are really phenomenal at what they do. They're subject matter experts in each of those areas, and for sure we're going to have people like that on the YouTube channel talking about um, excellence and how to be excellent
Mhm.
at whatever you want to do. And we'll mix it in with, like, say, 100-mile race over here, or
Mhm.
doing this over there, like just have some fun, right? And yeah, I mean, that's the direction that things are going in, man. It's pretty crazy. Like, when we first started sitting down, what I'm like, I might even go back and look at the first one I was on when I was talking with you, because I'm probably entirely different since then. And
Mhm.
the direction where things are going, I actually really feel it now. Before I
Mhm.
was like, okay, I hope it happens. Now I'm like, yeah, it's happening.
Dude,
I got no
yeah.
worries.
I feel that, dude. I listen back because, like, obviously, when I go back to edit these, I listen back to them a couple times, and there's so many times where I listen back and I'm like, and am I really living it? And then, like, a few weeks later, I'll listen back to the same episode and I'll be like, okay, I lived that part of it now. Or,
Hmm.
like, there's other times where I'm like, I got to re-record that shit, man. I'm not, like, practicing what I preach here. Like, there's other times where I'm like, fuck, I really should have shut up there.
No, but you know what, man? Good, because now you feel that kind of stings, right?
Well, yeah.
So it's good when you see that and you're like, oh man, I sound like an idiot. Now what do you say? I want to do that better.
Yeah.
That's it. Because man,
100%.
because I've done the same thing, gone back on some podcasts. I'm like, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't. But I don't want to beat myself up anymore. That doesn't happen. I'm not beating myself up anymore. What I say now is, okay, that happened. All right, cool. I'll do that better next time. That's it. I'll just do
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
I'll do that better next time. So if I say that, then what did I do in that thing that wasn't better? Look at it objectively and then move on. That's
Mhm.
it. Because there's no reason to. I've learned that there's no reason to attach emotion to it. And what I'm further learning, and then I'm gonna probably try to start adopting and internalizing now over the next little while, is detaching from everyone. Now that might sound harsh. It's not. What I mean by that is I don't want to have attachment. So what I mean by that is I will love who's like I love you, right?
Love you too, man.
Yeah. And but I'm not gonna hold you, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So in your presence, I'm gonna show you that love, and I'm gonna do these things. But when we're not, I'm not gonna worry if you're not gonna come back to me.
Mhm.
That's fine, man. You live your life. That's good. So now, to expand on it, that might seem logical, but now you expand on that even further. I detach from my family. That includes my parents and anyone else, because there's no need for the attachment. You can love them and care for them and do those things, but the attachment is what really starts bringing everyone down. It's when, for example, I'll speak for my daughter. If I was attached, and I'm just working on the piece that I'm talking about, but if I'm fully attached, then I'm going to be, my ego is going to be involved, right? So, say for example, if my ex wants to take her to Disneyland, I'm like, fuck that, man. I want to do that. I want to do that. I wanna do that. Blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
No, my daughter gets to go to Disneyland. She'll be happy. She'll enjoy herself. She's got a good mom. Detach. And when she's with me, we're having a blast. Whatever you want to do, we got it. Let's go. I love you. But I'm not going to put my ego on that shit. Because what I've learned is that doesn't help her at all, my daughter. It's selfish on my side. I just want to be, I want to be part of it. I want
Mm.
to give her something.
Okay, I
I
get what you
want, you
mean.
see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's all about her, right? So how I look at it is like, I don't care who gives her whatever she needs as long as she gets what she needs, so she's a great person when she leaves. So if I have something that I can give her, I'll give her when I'm around her. And if someone has something to give her and they're always around her, let them give it, man. Like it's like there's so that's how I'm kind of managing that emotional thing on that side. And
Mm-hmm.
I've learned through that if I were to translate that or use that way of thinking or methodology or system or whatever you want to call it with everyone I interact with, I think in time that might be better. But again, I don't know. I'm still testing it out.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like that. Like, there's that old cliche where people say, like, if you love something,
Mm-hmm.
let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's kind of like, I get what you mean, man, because there's so many times where I get that like kind of like selfish feeling as well, where you kind of like, I don't know, maybe you like, it's one of those situations where one of your friends gets something amazing, and you're like, man, I wanted to help you get that, or I wanted to do that, or I want that thing, and it's like your own ego gets in the way of like kind of letting your friends or your loved ones even enjoy the things that they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, they earned that,
Mm-hmm.
or like, however it fell into their lives. It's like that was meant to be what they got, or like it's kind of like our own ego wants to kind of tear the things that we love away from the people that we quote unquote love.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, I think I've experienced that even not, I mean shit this like last year. And I think for me why I'm not as much or why I don't think like that as much is I think because I've put in the work in myself and I'm building my own self-worth and I'm building my own self-confidence and self-esteem, right? No one can do that but me. So if I do that and I feel like I'm the person I should be, or I feel like I'm the person I want to be, or I'm on track to be, then if someone does something awesome, then good. It doesn't bother me anymore because I'm happy with where I'm going, and I'm happy with the person that I'm becoming, and I'm happy with my journey, right? So, and this is right now the way I'm feeling is relatively new, last month or two, right? It's just Rome wasn't built in a day, bro. It's just like I think it's just us keep grinding, just keep moving. Nothing happens overnight. It takes decades for us to like I'm still learning. Like
mm-hmm.
and I'm 44, right? So I don't think it ever stops. So as soon as we're okay with that part too, then it becomes freeing, right? You're like, I'm just going to continue learning. I'm keep becoming better and there's no end state and there's levels to everything. I'll give you an example of levels. I'll talk to my buddy Sean, right? Levels to this, bro. I ain't shit compared to him. If you were to list the things that he's accomplished or done or learned, now he would never say that I'm shit, or I don't say that either. I am something, but someone may say that. Now, when you say levels, I was talking to him this morning and he was posting something about coffee, and I asked him, I go, because I love coffee. And I go, hey man, so how many? And he loves coffee. He roasts his own beans. He
Oh
grind like
shit, I was gonna say I love coffee,
no
but I don't
he's
do
on an
that.
levels. That's the example I'm gonna give you. There's levels to this game, man. Levels to everything. So he made a post today about one of his coffees he makes, and he has about two coffees a day on average, but he doesn't. And so I asked him, well, how many coffees do you have? He's like, about two. I go, does it matter how much caffeine's in it, or are you just looking for the taste? He's like, the caffeine is a consequence of me looking at the taste and the essence of, and he starts breaking it down. I was like, fuck me, man. So then he posts something, and it's just levels, man. Like he's got a cup, he's got this fucking contraption. He's pouring his coffee and it's coming in. He's talking about how he's pouring it, how long he pours it for, the temperature. He's
Mm-hmm.
breaking it down to granularity
Mm-hmm.
levels.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I got a drip coffee machine in there,
But
dude.
so do I. Levels. But that's with everything.
Mm-hmm.
So so then he makes another post today. He goes, the first instrument, like some about some music he was listening to or something. He's like, the first instrument I learned was the piano. The second was the clarinet. And then he talks about the music he was listening to. This is the most beautiful clarinet whatever. I didn't even know he played instruments. And I just found out. So there's levels to everything, right? We all l- me included, do very surface level of everything I do, or have very surface level of everything I've done until now.
Mm-hmm.
Until now. I'm trying to get to the point where I can get granular on things. So for me to become a professional, it has to go granular on the running. My feet, I gotta figure out my feet. I gotta figure out the toes. I gotta figure out the ankles. I gotta all that,
I
right?
get you. I
You
get you
feeling
now.
it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I'm starting to see
so
that.
everything is granularity. If you want to get take it to another level, if you want to add levels to your game, it's granularity. So jiu-jitsu, right? How you grip the collar, break every movement down.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about okay, you grab the collar. Okay, how? Which fingers? How tight?
Mm-hmm.
Where?
Where on the yeah, I was gonna say
Right?
where on the lapel.
And
Yeah,
how do you want me to grab it?
yeah,
Which like fuck, man, yeah, grab it, but how?
yeah.
That granularity. So I think, and look, you could say grab it, but and then if you say how, then maybe your professor gets pissed. I don't know, but I would think of it that way. And then if you're thinking, okay, how do we get even further here? How do we make that better? Because that's what I'm learning now. It's like, how do we make things better? So when you're beating yourself up, don't beat yourself up. How do we make it better? Next time you fuck up, okay, don't beat yourself up. How do you make it better? That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way.
One of the things that you said, there's a lot of beauty in it, man, because you were talking about, and this is something that I hear so often. Like, there's people that reach out to me on Instagram or what have you, and they're kind of talking about like, a lot of the time people are dealing with, and this is something that I'm sure you can relate to as well, because I feel like you kind of, I don't know, you might get the same kind of things that I get, where it's like you kind of, if you're an athletic guy, you're moving all the time, you're working out all the time, and people kind of assume that like you have this confidence about you. And one of the things you said was you're building your own confidence. And a lot of people, and especially this is how I used to be as well. I used to look at everybody else, and I'd kind of feel like, I got to wear, like, socially, I have to wear a mask because I don't feel good. And I look at everyone else and they all seem to feel okay. And I used to think, like, I wish I had that confidence. Like, I wish I felt as good as this guy. And that was one of the biggest lessons I had to learn. Was kind of like what you just said, was like, I'm building my own confidence. And it's by doing these kinds of things. Well, I guess I might even need to ask you, is like, how have you been building this confidence? Because
Yeah.
that's,
That's a great question because I think that's super important because I didn't know how.
yeah, dude, I still
Yeah.
feel like that sometimes, man.
How did I do it? Well, I'll be fully honest. Sean Taylor, if he didn't help me, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. So I'm fortunate that I have a Sean Taylor and a Seb Lavoie that I can kind of tap on the
Shout
shoulder.
outs to Seb, man, because
Seb.
the call that I had with him, man,
Yeah,
he really helped me out too.
he's a great guy, man, and I'll tell you why. Um, he has no ulterior motive, zero. I have one. I mean, I'm trying to become an athlete,
Hmm.
right? We all have one, right? And but he doesn't. At least I haven't seen it, and I'm pretty perceptive, and he's the epitome of detachment. Like
Hmm.
that concept I was just talking about. I didn't even like I'm talking about that for myself, but I didn't even think about it for him. But now that I think about him, he's really good at that. He doesn't care about nothing other than the other person's welfare. And at first, when I first talked to him, I was like, ah, man, that's kind of fucking weird. I didn't really believe it. Not because I doubted him. I just didn't see that from anyone in my life. So when I saw it from someone like that, I gravitated towards him. It was weird, man. Like straight up gravitated towards him. So, anyways, having said that, without those two guys, for sure, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. But I put in the work, right? So, what was the question that you asked before I did the tangent on set?
Well, just kind of like how you go about building your own
Yeah,
confidence.
no, great question. So, I needed help with that because I didn't understand um, how to properly do it for myself. So, for quite some time last year, after I had run that 100K from Chilliwack to YVR to raise that money, I was lost after that. Like I was pretty, like it might have seemed I was okay or whatever, but I didn't know what, I was searching for something. I was
Like, was
searching.
it like kind of like a what's next, or was it kind of like I
Mm-mm.
thought that this was gonna make me feel a certain way and I didn't,
No,
or
it had really nothing to do. No, it's not true. It I don't know if it had much to do with work or anything. I just felt a yearning to learn something. Like I was trying to find something. I was lost. When I say lost, I felt like disillusioned. That's what I mean. I didn't have a purpose, and I felt like I was disillusioned with the world in law enforcement, and I was I just didn't feel I had the purpose anymore. So I was kind of looking for a purpose, essentially. Now that I reflect back and look at what I was doing, and I was bumbling my way through life, straight up. I was bumbling my way through. Lucky for me, some people saw what I did on the 7th of November 2021.
mm-hmm.
And had I not run, then I wouldn't have found these people. And I wouldn't have learned how to build my confidence and um, how to function properly for myself. So I was searching, I was running, and then I engaged. I found like I started chatting with Sean Taylor on Instagram. And did I tell this story before?
No, dude, not
Oh
at all.
shit. Okay, yeah, I'll tell the story. It's a great story. So he lives in the Kootenays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's friends with Seb too, right? And we're all kind of good friends, right? And so he and Seb went to Haiti, and they were in Haiti around December, November, in around that time of last year. And they were coming back, and Seb went home, and I was working. I was around the airport at the time, and I saw Sean posted something that he was at the airport. His flight had been delayed because it was snowstorm at that time. So his flight back to the Kootenays had been canceled. So he was staying again for one night. And I was like, shit, man, I'm done shift. I'll, you want to go for coffee? And I hadn't met him yet.
And him being the coffee lover, he's like, "Yep,
Yeah. 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 So he, well, I said, let's go for a beer, actually.
yeah, yeah."
He's like, no, let's go grab a coffee or something. And so the reason why I went to meet him is because I felt isolated. I felt alone. I didn't have anyone to talk to. I didn't have anything. At least I didn't feel like it. My perception was that.
Mm-hmm.
If it was reality, I can't say. But my perception was I felt isolated, alone, and had no one to talk to. And I wanted to talk to him because on his Instagram it says he's a tier 1 operator, and that's a special forces person. So I wanted to see if I had any similarities to someone like that. That was the only reason. And then there, in through that, I thought I might have some connection. So I went to meet him, and it turned to be like a 3-hour conversation. We were hanging out, and there's similarities and a ton of no similarities. Like he's very very good man, very good person, and so yeah, I sat with him 3 hours. I shared some stuff with him. He shared some stuff with me, and we connected at a level that I thought was pretty cool for a couple guys that didn't know each other, and with absolutely different backgrounds, like absolutely different. Like he's a 58-year-old Caucasian guy born in Ireland, right? And he comes to the Canada. I'm a Indo-Canadian kid, 44 years old, went to high school in the States and come back here, right? Very different, right? And but we connected, and he saw how desperate I was. I was in a desperate spot. Like I haven't shared that kind of. I was bad, like a hot mess. And he would help me. Almost, he was Zoom calling me almost every single day for at least a half an hour, and sometimes even longer,
Wow, man.
even longer. Like yeah, almost every day. If I was like I was like, and that for him is not a new thing for him. he still does that to this day. Talks to people. He's like, he helps people. That's what he does. And doesn't ask for anything in return. He probably might be pissed off when I'm talking about this right now. But
Everyone's gonna hit him up right now. They're like, dude,
no,
I feel lonely.
no. Well, here's the thing. This is another thing I've learned, and that I'm going to start employing eventually. I'm sure I'm going to have to. And another friend of ours, Tanya Lamb. She's out of Montreal. Phenomenal artist, like next level photography, all kinds of artists. And she's a jiu-jitsu player. She trains at a TriStar. She does photography for all those guys out there, GSP and all these people.
Damn.
And so yeah, shoot, what was it? I lost my train of thought. Why did I bring her up?
Because
We were talking about Sean.
yeah, I talk about how Sean. Because I made the joke. I was like, how everyone's gonna be hitting up Sean.
Okay. So I was talking to her, and she's like, "Yeah, Sean's like that monk on the top of the mountain."
He's like Master Splinter.
No, I'll explain something. He's like the monk on top of, like the kung fu master on top of the mountain. He'll teach you if you can make it up the fucking mountain.
Right.
You got to put in work, and then he'll teach you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of concept, right? So I'm getting hit up all the time now,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. I want to help as many people as possible, but at some point it's going to be unsustainable, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm hopeful at some point, I'll figure out a better way to manage that. But anyways, but yeah, he's that guy where he helps. So he was then eventually got to a point where he would just call me once a week, or I would call him once a week,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd do a Zoom for an hour or two. And he was very instrumental in getting my mindset to where it needed to be to execute what I'm trying to do. He was instrumental in that. Like he's a performance coach, a mental performance coach. That's what he does, and he's done that for years. So he did his job, what his job should be or would be, and he also saved my life essentially. And now he's given me my life, in a sense of showed me the way to do things better, and now I've learned those ways, and I would like to learn them even better, and then come on these podcasts and talk about that, because I think it's super awesome that if I can learn something from him that helped me, and then share that with some other people, and if that helps. Now, having said that, it's not that hard. Like, it's simple stuff. Well, sorry, it's super hard, but it's simple stuff.
Mm.
Don't lie. Like, honestly, be honest with yourself all the time, and control the ego all the time. For me, that's for me. So, like, be honest. So, like, we always play these games in our head, right? And we always tell a story, and we always say something. Or if we're trying to get something, we want to say something. What I've we've always known this, but what I've put into practice with his reminders is to tell the truth. And since I've been doing that regularly and just doing it now, everything's changing again. So in the sense of, like, before I'd be worried, I don't want to tell people I'm broke. I don't want to ask for help. Oh, they're going to think I'm fucking like a loser. Whatever, right? That's how I thought my entire life. Now I'm like, I'm making a video talking about I need some money and I need help to train. Like, I would never have done that in a million years. But now I've done that, and that helps people somehow, or that will help me, or like, and it has, like,
100%.
it's helped me 100%. And me just being open and honest with like, look, New Edge Alliance and Oxygen Renfrew are putting on a fundraiser for me, July 9th. In Coquitlam. They're going to have professional athletes there, NHL, MMA, UFC fighters. They're going to have, lacrosse, like all these kind of people. They're going to have them there. We're going to have speakers there, like Seb's going to speak, Nathan from 1033 podcast about first responders and mental health. And we want to make this a huge event. Now, that wouldn't have never happened had I not asked for help. Now, these guys, no, actually, let me correct that. I went to hang out with them one day. I just met them. And I was talking to Jason.
The 1033 guys, or
No,
the guys from
New Edge.
Alliance?
New Edge.
Ah, yeah.
I mean, I've known them for a bit, but then I stopped off at New Edge Alliance and chatted with Ibby and Jason. And awesome guys, man. Like, I didn't even go there asking for anything. I was just shooting the shit with them, and they were like, "Hey, how can we help you?" I was like, "What?" And like, well, they were
Whoa,
like,
shit.
"That's
Sorry.
fine." They were like, we want to help. I go, "Look, man, I can't take any money and blah blah blah." And they're like, we want to help you."
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, I need help, man. What can we do?" They put a fundraising team together. So they have they have people that work there, and they put a team together to help fundraise. And all they asked me was like, "What would you like to see at it?" And what what's the ideas? And I kind of just said those things and putting it together.
Damn.
It's like now, having said that, I put in the work. I'm doing things that are going to help a lot of people, and that's why they're doing it. And they're doing it to help me so that I can do these things. So they're essentially that's a donation for them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's pretty amazing. If you actually take a step back and think about that, they're going to donate money to me
Mm-hmm.
so I can pay my rent, so I can eat. Like that's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And they share the vision. They share the vision of doing something to help as many people as possible. And I am on the track to think I think I'm on track to do that. I think I'm on track and I'm trending in the direction where that's all I'm going to do. And nothing is going to deter me from it. Like I went to Peninsula Runners today. I had to stop in there on my run just to grab some tailwind. I was running out, and one of the people that were working there had seen me for the last couple of years. And at the beginning, when they used to, when I used to go there and talk to them, they're like, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah, whatever." Now they're like, "Holy shit!" I was like, "I'm telling you guys, like I've been telling you the same thing for 2 years. I'm doing this. It's happening."
Mm-hmm.
So now people are starting to see it because I signed a contract with Magnum, a huge supplement company. Like it's massive. They service 40 different countries. I love this company and what they stand for. The integrity is legit. Marcus, who's the CEO, straight up was like, "Look, we're supporting the journey, whatever that means. Don't know if that's money or what, but we're supporting it." And I was like, pretty brilliant. So
Mm-hmm.
that means a ton. That elevates my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer the question about elevating confidence and stuff, it's by doing these things and meeting other people and seeing their reactions to me as well. Because I was isolated, sitting by myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my life, I would not really hang out with a ton of people. So you don't really see what perspective is. You only see what's in your head. So if I'm talking shit about myself all the time, I'm going to think I'm a loser,
Yeah, yeah.
right? But if I go like now, like over the last 6 months, I'm going out and meeting people, going for coffees, going to here, going there, and everyone is saying things that are encouraging. And they're not pumping my tires, like not like that kind of stuff, but encouraging things. "Oh, that's really good that you've done this, that you've thought," like all these kinds of things. And that, for me, makes me feel good. And it makes me see what I've done in such a short amount of time. That gives me more confidence as well. And then so now if I reflect back, take a step back, talk about it and think about it, I have my confidence right now is through the fucking roof. Like I feel unstoppable right now. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I feel right now at this moment. I feel unstoppable. I feel like next year I'm going to have a shoe contract. I, and people can go, "Oh, you're crazy," or whatever. Well, I've thought of it and it's going to happen now. So it's in my head. And this is how I think now. Not before, but now because I have that confidence. So now, and the confidence is there because I've set a target or a goal and I've executed against every single plan and gotten it over the last 3 years. So that gives me more confidence. It's when you achieve things that you've set out to achieve, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now when I say I'm getting a shoe contract with a massive company by next year, all I have to do is reverse engineer that idea, right? So the idea, I'm not thinking about here, how do I get it? I'm thinking about, I want that contract, reverse engineer it from now. So now what do I need to do to get a contract? Well, I need to win a race or get really good at racing. Okay, if that doesn't happen, what do I do? So now I have a bunch of plans to get that thing.
Mm-hmm.
And all I have to do is put in the work to get it now. So um, if it doesn't happen 6 months or next year, it's going to happen. I'm relentless now. So
Right.
and I think that comes from confidence and that comes from now that I'll find a way to do anything I want. So I'll find a way.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm getting beat up. I'm beating myself up. I'll do better next time, and I'll find a way.
It's kind of like a combination of like starting off with like kind of different challenges, or like a lot of people say like goals, different challenges, like different ways to kind of, push yourself a little bit further, a little bit like achieve something that you didn't really think that you could do, like we were talking about earlier, and then actually achieving it and kind of building it a little bit higher up from there. Um,
Sorry, 1 second.
no, you're all good, man. And then a combination of that and just kind of putting yourself out there and
Yeah.
connecting with other people, connecting, because I've been in those positions as well where you're just kind of on your grind, but you're not connecting with anybody. You're just kind of, maybe you get up, you go to work, you go to the gym, you come home, you eat dinner, you shower up, and that's it. You don't connect with anybody. You have nowhere to bounce feedback off of. You have nobody to tell you, hey, like you're doing a fucking good job. It's a combination of that, but also actually doing a good job, like challenging yourself and doing a good job. And
Yeah.
then from there, it's kind of just like, okay, now that I've achieved this thing that I didn't think I was going to be able to do, what if I shoot a little bit higher? What if I aim a little bit higher? What if I aim a little bit higher this time? And you continuously build up and up and up, because that's even like, you could take it as physical feats like, hey, I did a half marathon. I did a full marathon. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to do that. And you have people tell you, like, wow, that was fucking awesome. That was a good job. Like, all of these different things start to compound. And then that's how you start to build this confidence. And then once you have more confidence, you can shoot for higher goals. Like, it's like almost like a compounding
Well,
effect.
it is. So it's like Sean, buddy mine. Buddy, I keep saying buddy mine. So Sean was mentioning something to me, and this is all we do. This all the time. Like I do this. I do this all the time. But he gave it. He gives it like a saying, right? Like, and he does it all the time. And you probably do. A lot of people do it when you want to set the next challenge. It's recalibrating your suckometer.
How much suck you're willing to take.
Yeah, or yeah, essentially. So if you're doing 10K and you're doing 10K all the time, cool. Now tomorrow, do that. If you're doing your 10K for 60 minutes, now decide tomorrow you're doing it for 55. You're doing it for 55 tomorrow, and you do it. Now you've recalibrated your suckometer because now it's 55 minutes, and then you do that for a while, and you say 50. I'm gonna do it tomorrow. You have intention behind it. You recalibrate everything in your life to do that. Now, obviously, you focus on the priorities or whatever it is, but you recalibrate. So what I did on each of these things, I'm going to the mountains, recalibrating.
What's vibrating? Do you hear that?
It's not me. I hear it. I got to rock and roll soon, anyways, bro. Shoot. Oh, it's the phone. Vibrating.
Oh, it's Teddy's phone.
I got to rock, anyways, bro.
All right, you want to wrap this
Yeah,
up?
let's wrap it up, bro. So
All right.
yeah, man. I mean, I got a lot going on right now. I got what do we got? The next big race is going to be July 23rd. That'll be the Buck in Hell in North Vancouver. That'll be a fun one. And then also, just so everyone knows, if we're, depending on when this comes out, tomorrow, which is Sunday, what's the date? The 26th, we're doing a mental health walk at Campbell Valley Park on Clouds, the shoe company, the third largest shoe company on the planet, is going to be there. They're going to be, having a tent, snacks,
This
and
will
all
be after that, but
whatever, they can talk about it. And then what else? What are we going to talk about? Yeah, that's it. So we got that. We got the race. YouTube channel starts.
Shout out to Magnum.
Shout out to Magnum. Yeah, Magnum supplements. Anybody wants to get any supplements, you can use my code. It's SACHIN, Sachin. Just go to the magnumsups.ca website and you order anything off the site and use my code. You get a discount.
Little shameless plug there.
Yeah, bam. And hopefully there will be more shameless plugs and sponsors coming in the next few months. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, bro.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I
man.
think that's a great place to wrap this up. Yeah, if you guys need to build some confidence, go and set some fucking goals, challenge yourself a little bit more, and then recalibrate that suckometer. I love that.
Yeah.
Man. Recalibration, man. Awesome.
All right, bro.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, man.
Much love and peace out, everybody.
See ya.